Okay, so you've probably seen Kourtney Kardashian's supplement brand Lemme all over Instagram. It's very millennial, right? The cute gummy vitamins in like pastel packaging with like the wellness vibes, all that kind of stuff. Very Kourtney Kardashian. I actually bought some Lemmies when I went to what's it called? LA. And they were fine. I just bought them because I was a little bit peckish. But when Lemme launched, it promised like a new, luxurious approach to supplements and products packed with science-backed ingredients that were proven to deliver results. But what we got was actually very different. Behind the fancy packaging, the celebrity marketing, and bold claims, serious questions about the brand's integrity have started to surface because things are getting a bit weird. A lot of critics have questioned whether Lemme's products really live up to the promises that were made. And now Lemme is at the center of not one, but two class action lawsuits accusing the brand of false advertising and misleading their customers. So yeah, things are getting pretty interesting for the brand. That's why in today's video, I want to talk about how Lemme's glossy image has began to crack and finding out what it can mean for the brand's future. First, we need to talk briefly about what Lemme is and how the brand came about. Kourtney Kardashian, we don't speak about the Kardashians, you know who they are, claims that the brand idea for Lemme came to her because she'd spent over a decade trying to find the perfect supplement. But none of them were quite right. Either they were too big and difficult to swallow, grow up, or they didn't taste very good. No, I can't do big stuff. They hurt. Or they tasted great, but didn't do too much to actually make you healthier, which is kind of like a questionable thing when it comes to supplements anyway. Anyway, nothing was quite right for what she wanted, so she decided to do it herself. That's the brand story for everyone, right? Apparently, she spent 5 years collaborating with doctors and scientists to formulate a line of supplements that not only tasted amazing, but were actually good for you. Exactly in what way she collaborated with these doctors and scientists is unclear, but either way, the result was Lemme, a line of gummy vitamins and supplements that apparently use clinically backed ingredients and formulations to help you live your healthiest life. It's very Kourtney Kardashian, right? She has her, what's it called? Swoop? No, that's Goop. What am I thinking of? Poosh, that's it. Oh my God. The brand launched in September of 2022 with 3 gummy supplements, all of which I have tried. Lemme Matcha contains organic matcha and CoQ10 and claims to support energy, production, and metabolism without giving you the jitters. Lemme Focus contains lion's mane and clinically studied cytocholine and claims to improve focus, concentration, and attention. Lemme Chill contains clinically studied ashwagandha and claims to reduce stress and help you feel relaxed, as well as reducing stress-related food cravings and supporting your healthy cortisol levels. I think the Lemme Chill ones are literally just melatonin. They all taste good though, they taste really good. And initially the brand was fairly well received, though there were some who questioned if the dosage of the relevant ingredients were really enough to give the effects advertised, and others who said the formulas were pretty similar to much cheaper brands. So as usual, you'd be paying way over the top just because it was a celebrity brand, right? But the brand still had a lot of fans, and although the products might not be amazing, none of the claims seemed too crazy or over-exaggerated. But it wouldn't be long before this all changed. The problem here started less than 6 months later when Kourtney Kardashian launched Purr, the brand's vaginal probiotic gummies, in February of 2023. And if somehow you missed the internet talking about this product when it first launched, let's just say that the claims of what Lemme Purr could do for you were a little bit out there. The marketing for the product claimed that Lemme Purr targeted vaginal microbiome health and pH levels to support freshness and odor. Basically, they're saying that Lemme Purr will make your vagina smell and taste better. In an Instagram post announcing the product, Kourtney Kardashian said, "Give your vagina the sweet treat it deserves and turn it into a sweet treat. You know what they say, you are what you eat." She also added that the products use pineapple and vitamin C and probiotics to target vaginal health and pH levels that support freshness and taste. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, if you live in LA, the product was actually a big hit with a lot of people, and it sold out within a week of its release. It's not too crazy, but still good, as well as going on to sell out another 4 times in the next 6 months. But despite Lemme Purr's success with consumers, a lot of medical professionals expressed concern about the product claims and marketing strategies. Dr. Jen Gunter, a gynecologist and author of the Vagina Bible and the Menopause Manifesto, criticized the notion that vaginas require products to alter their taste or smell, labeling such suggestions as misogynistic. She emphasized that the vagina is self-cleaning and does not need enhancement through supplements. Dr. Brooke van der Molen, an obstetrics and gynecology specialist, challenged the product's claims, saying that all vaginas have individual smells and tastes, which can vary due to factors like menstrual cycles and diet. She argued that promoting this kind of like standardized ideal contributes to the objectification of women and is both misogynistic and anti-feminist. And Dr. Anita Mitra, a women's health expert with a PhD in the study of vaginal microbiome, criticized the use of terms like probiotic and microbiome in the product's marketing as buzzwords lacking substantial scientific backing. She also said that anyone who tells you that you need to change the taste or smell of your vulva or vagina is working with the patriarchy. And it wasn't just accusations of misogyny that Lemme had to deal with now. The launch of Lemme Purr had also led to harsher scrutiny of the science behind their claims as a brand overall. Lemme Purr also drew a lot of criticism from medical professionals and industry experts who accused Kourtney Kardashian and Lemme in general of promoting pseudoscience and exploiting women's insecurities, which a lot of the Kardashian brands have been accused of before. Experts pointed out the lack of scientific evidence supporting the alleged effectiveness of ingredients in Lemme Purr when it comes to improving vaginal health. Dr. Mickey Karam, a urogynecologist, said that there's just no good science behind any of it, that there's zero evidence that anything related to what they're putting into this is going to make anything better. I have no idea where Lemme came up with that connection, but there's nothing anywhere that's ever been shown in peer-reviewed scientific literature that the vagina is lacking or would benefit from vitamin C or pineapple extract. This negative press led to Zimmerman Reed, a class action litigation firm, launching an investigation into Lemme's allegedly misleading and deceptive marketing strategies, which some argued had violated consumer rights. The investigation was launched in August of 2024, and the law firm was looking into Lemme Purr's gummies as well as their Curb capsules, which claim to support healthy blood sugar. Their de-bloat gummies, which claim to relieve bloating symptoms, and their matcha gummies, which we talked about earlier. They had concerns that the advertising claims made by the brand for these specific products were deceptive and misleading, and were questioning whether customers actually got what they expected and were paying for from these products. For example, the Lemme de-bloat gummies promised to relieve bloating, but the investigation revealed that they contain 3 grams of sugar per serving, which some experts could argue actually make bloating worse. And the Lemme matcha gummies are supposed to boost energy and metabolism, but they only contain 100 milligrams of matcha per serving, which is far less than what is believed to be an effective dose. In fact, a single teaspoon of matcha is around 2,000 milligrams, which is 20 times what's found in the Lemme gummies. Zimmerman Reed's website says that they're completing their investigation to Lemme, but doesn't give any further information, and they haven't filed a lawsuit against the brand yet. So it's kind of unclear if they're still working on this case, I should say, before filing a lawsuit, whether they're still looking for more customers who were affected by the Lemme's allegedly misleading and deceptive marketing tactics, or if they decided just not to pursue the lawsuit altogether for whatever reason. But although Zimmerman Reed's lawsuit hasn't gone any further so far, that doesn't mean that Lemme are in the all clear. Not at all. That's because they launched their Lemme GLP-1 Daily capsules in September of 2024, the same month that Zimmerman Reed began their investigation into some of Lemme's other products. And once again, the claims they made about the product were somewhat questionable, very questionable. Lemme's marketing for their GLP-1 capsules claim that they promote your body's GLP-1 production, reduce hunger and cravings, promote fat reduction, and support healthy weight management. So if you're wondering what this GLP-1 they're talking about actually is, it's a natural hormone in the body which is released in the gut after you eat. And it essentially suppresses your appetite, so you feel full and you just don't keep eating. And if you're thinking, I've heard of this before, that's because hugely popular drugs like Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Wegovy are all examples of GLP-1 agonists, meaning that they mimic the effects of GLP-1 in the body, helping control blood sugar levels and reduce hunger. So whilst initially these were made for people with diabetes, it's now being used mainly in Hollywood as a weight loss drug. So when Lemme launched this new product, a lot of people began accusing the brand of capitalizing on the popularity of drugs like Ozempic, the popularity of GLP-1 agonists, by putting GLP-1 in the name of their product and claiming that you can expect reduced hunger and cravings and fat reduction as a result of taking their capsules. They're trying to make you think this is Ozempic in a tablet form. But the problem is that despite GLP-1 being in the name, it isn't the same thing as prescription medications like Ozempic. Lemme's supplement doesn't actually contain any GLP-1, unsurprisingly, and doesn't even mimic GLP-1 like other popular weight loss drugs. This has led to a lot of backlash, understandably, against Lemme for what many believe is an attempt to trick customers into buying something that they think is going to work like Ozempic, like a diet pill, when it doesn't at all. Lauren Harris Pincus, a registered dietitian, why did I just make that up then? She's a dietitian, said in an interview that no supplement can come close to mimicking the effects of GLP-1 agonist medications like Ozempic and Wegovy. It's like the difference between an eyedropper and a garden hose. The alleged deceptive marketing by Lemme has led to not one, but two class action lawsuits being filed by a woman from California named Christina Robbins. Robbins has filed lawsuits in both the California Superior Court and the Southern District of New York, accusing Lemme of lying about what their GLP-1 daily supplement can actually do. Specifically, Robbins says Lemme is falsely advertising the supplement as something that can effectively promote weight loss by increasing the body's natural PLG1 levels, and the lawsuit specifically accuses Simon Huck, the co-founder of Lemme, and Kourtney Kardashian of hoping to cash in on the weight loss craze and swindle Americans into buying their supplement instead. In Lemme's defense, they claim that their GLP-1 daily capsules do reduce hunger levels and support weight management by increasing the amount of naturally occurring GLP-1 in the body by 17%. They say that the clinical studies into the ingredients they use support this claim, allegedly. But according to the lawsuit, Lemme has no clinical evidence whatsoever demonstrating that increasing naturally occurring GLP-1 by 17% that actually has any effect on calorie consumption and weight loss. There's just no evidence. They say that Lemme's studies don't really demonstrate any real effect on weight loss whatsoever, and point out that the increase in GLP-1 shown in the studies are negligible when compared to your body's naturally occurring fluctuations of GLP-1 after eating. They're just like, they're not there. Specifically, it says that GLP-1 levels in your body naturally increase by 400% to 900% after eating. So a tiny increase of 17% is unlikely to make any difference whatsoever. And compared to the effects provided by drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, Lemme's 17% increase sounds even more ridiculous. Apparently, a 1 milligram dose of a real GLP-1 agonist provides an increase of GLP-1 equivalent of between 300,000% and 600,000% compared to 17%. The lawsuit also accuses these studies that Lemme is using of being flawed, such as relying on sample sizes which were far too small to come to any valid statistical conclusions. And one of the studies even confirms that after taking the relevant ingredient for 4 months, participants failed to show any decrease in body weight, BMI, or waist-to-hip ratio. So they also point out in the lawsuit that naturally occurring GLP-1 has a half-life of just 1 to 2 minutes and is quickly degraded by enzymes in the body. They say this means that even if Lemme's supplement does increase naturally occurring GLP-1 by 17%, there's no clinical data to support the idea that simply boosting the amount of naturally occurring GLP-1 has any effect on sustained weight loss at all. In fact, a Taking It Apart article released last year says that if it were that simple, the pharmaceutical industry wouldn't have spent decades developing stable GLP-1 analogs, as the natural form breaks down too fast in the body to be effective. You can't just shove this in a gummy and be like, it's the same thing. Part of what makes GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic so effective is that they have been modified to be resistant to the enzymes that break down GLP-1. So instead of having a half-life of 1 to 2 minutes, they have a half-life of about 7 days. The lawsuit also points out that the studies Lemme are citing focusing are on individual ingredients rather than measuring the effects of the extracts altogether in a single supplement. It states that while they claim to have clinical support for the components of Lemme GLP-1 Daily, they did not study the combination of those extracts in a single supplement, meaning that the supplement has not been clinically tested. Altogether, it doesn't sound like Lemme really has a leg to stand on when it comes to this, unsurprisingly, when it comes to bullshit claims in the beauty industry, but especially the supplement industry. Yeah, this isn't a surprise. Robin says that she would not have bought Lemme GLP-1 Daily capsules if she'd known that Lemme's claims about the supplement's weight loss benefits lacked any clinical basis or support. In fact, she says that she actually gained 5 pounds whilst on the Lemme supplement. Not exactly the outcome you'd be looking for, I imagine, you know? So yeah, understandably, she's suing. Robin says Lemme's whole marketing strategy is misleading. It's like they're trying to convince people that the supplement will work just like Ozempic, even though it's never been clinically tested to do so. And she's not just looking for money back, she wants Lemme to stop what she's calling deceptive marketing. She wants them to stop, as well as wanting them to pay damages and even launch a whole corrective ad campaign to clear up their allegedly false marketing claims. The lawsuits aren't just for her either. She says that she's filed them with the aim to represent all United States residents who, during the maximum period of time permitted by law, purchase Lemme GLP-1 Daily capsules from lemmelive.com for personal, family, or household consumption and not for resale. So far, Lemme don't seem to have changed anything. They're still selling their GLP-1 Daily supplements and they're still making the same claims about fat reduction, reduced hunger, and weight loss. The lawsuit is still pretty recent though, and these class action lawsuits can take a very long time to be sorted out. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens, but it doesn't look great for Lemme at the moment. And with another lawsuit potentially coming from Zimmerman Reed in the near future, things could just keep getting worse for the brand.